Do you make stock at home? And do you include aromatics like carrots, onion, celery, herbs, salt, pepper? And I hate to inform you, but you do not make stock. You make broth. Now, the difference between stock and broth is stock is just bones, meat, plus water. Broth is bones, meat, plus water, plus aromatics. So if you're adding aromatics, you're making broth. You're not making stock. Today I'm making some beef stock, and what I have here is some soup bones that got a decent amount of meat on them, and I also have leftover scraps from steaks that I have grilled up or seared up in the past that I've just kept in the freezer and held on to those parts so that way I can include them inside my stock that I'm making today. To get this started, I have my oven at 425 degrees, and I'm going to roast these for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. As soon as they get good caramelization on them, I'm going to be pulling them out of the oven and continuing from there. So to get started, I'm going to roast these for 30 minutes to an hour at 425 degrees. Now, if you want to add good caramelization, if you're making broth, I would not recommend adding your aromatics at the same time that you add your meat to the oven. You're going to want to roast those at about 425 degrees to 450 degrees for about 30 minutes. So personally, I would recommend adding in your onion, your celery, your garlic, if you're adding that, when you have about 30 minutes left to your roasting time. And then that way you can get those all charred up all at the same time over roasting them separately. And you can just toss those all on the same pan or do them on a separate pan. That's your choice. It's been about 30 minutes now. Doesn't quite have as much color as I would like yet, but I'm going to give it all a turn just so that way I can get some even browning all the way around. Now this can go back in the oven for another 20 to 30 minutes. Oh yeah, that looks good. Decent deep color on most of that meat there and those bones. While my sheet pan is still hot here, I want to get my chunks of meat inside my pot quickly so that way I can deglaze my sheet pan and get all those yummy bits inside of this pot as well. Close to half of the pot is filled up. I'm going to get this covered with water. While that water's filling up, I'm just take a bit of water here onto the sheet pan and scrape up as much of these good bits as I can get. Tongs weren't working too well, so grab the wooden spatula so I'm not scratching up my nonstick. And this is working a whole lot better. Pot is most of the way full. Get all these drippings inside there. All this fond. This is just concentrated flavor right there. Looks gross, will taste amazing. And it makes the pan a bit easier to clean later. Now, get this covered and on the stove for the next long while. I'm going to bring that up to a boil and then reduce it to a simmer, and I'm going to simmer it for 16 to 20 hours until it's good and unctuous and I got everything cooked out of those bones. After it's been simmering for a few hours is when I go in with a spoon and start skimming off any of the gunk that has come to the top of the pot, just so that way my broth will be more clear once this whole process is done. And I'll repeat this process every few hours during the cooking process just to make sure I'm not ending up with any nasty floaty bits on the top of the pot. It is now 2 days later since I started this process. I let this simmer on my stove for about 20-ish hours, skimming any scum that came off the top, and then I let this rest inside my fridge overnight so I can get this lovely fat puck on top so I can get this removed. And I'm just going to add this to the fat scum that I removed while this was cooking, and I'm going to render this later into some beef tallow. So don't just throw this away. This is a great usable ingredient right here. And as you can see, it's really thick and it's nice and collagen-y. So this turned out to be a great, beautiful batch of stock. Ooh. Not overusing that. I'm just gonna get my fingers in there because this comes off super duper easy. You can leave this inside your stock if you want, but the fat, it can bubble up during the canning process, and if you don't have enough headspace in your jars, it can cause your seals to pop. So I recommend removing this excess fat from your beef stock. I like leaving the excess fat in my chicken stock, but removing this excess fat from your beef stock to use to render out for making tallow to cook in, or if you use it for any other reasons. I don't, I just use it for cooking. That is thick and gloopy and nice and collagen-y. That turned out gorgeous. And there's all of my beef fat that I'm going to render down into tallow. Now for the next step, I like getting a nice big bowl or a big pot, colander, and cheesecloth. Now this cheesecloth, you don't want to single layer it. I recommend at least double layering it for this process. And what I like to do is I take it, I push it down in my corners, I fold each of my corners in just a little bit. Then I hold those corners in place, and I flip it upside down, go like that. And the reason I do this is so that way my corners don't just sit inside of my strained off broth, and they sit higher up on my colander, so they're not just seeping up into my broth here. Well, into my stock here. Sorry, not my broth. Now, what I'll do is I'll just carefully strain this through my cheesecloth and my colander. And since this has a lot of collagen in it, it will strain slowly. So just be patient with this process. Let it take its time, and just take it little bit by little bit. Now that the level has gotten basically the same as what's sitting inside my colander, I'll just pick it up. And either be patient enough to let this fully strain off, or give it a quick whoop and let it start draining into this one. And I folded back the corners of my cheesecloth just a little bit too much, so it keeps folding in on me, which is a little bit of a nuisance, but that's okay. Now, and this is a point where you do want to be a bit patient, so you get all of your good broth strained off and get all of your chunks of impurities strained out. So it does take a little bit, but that's okay. Now you stay put. And you can always pop a couple of clothespins on the edge of your cheesecloth to keep it up on the edge of your colander. Go ahead and shake those big bits into the cheesecloth. Now, at this point, I'm going to use the same pot, but I'm going to wash it up first. Get this strained off to a fine mesh sieve. You can pass it through cheesecloth again if you would like. Now, since this is finishing up over here, I'll pick this up and let it drain into the empty one. Oh yeah. Add a bit more bits inside of this one. Now, what I can do is I can get this heating up on the stove. This will take a few minutes to get back up to temperature, a little bit at least. And for this meat at this point, if you want to eat it, you can. It won't taste very good. So what I am going to do is I'm going to take out these bones that have now been boiled to the point where they're just brittle. There's nothing to them, so you do not want to feed these to your dogs or cats or anything. So I'm going to pick out these bones, and I will be feeding the meat scraps to my critters. Yeah, because these bones, there's next to no life back inside of them. And then all this good meat here doesn't have bones in it, I'll save that to feed to my dogs and cats. They'll love that. Down to these smaller bits. I'll just pick up my cheesecloth here, get my top ends all secured. Oop, that's why I'll run it through a fine mesh sieve for the just in cases. Hold on to that top good and tight. Now I'll just give it a good old squeeze. Get the last of this nice collagen-rich stock out. There we go. And just a reminder, you can wash your cheesecloth and reuse it. I've been using this same chunk of cheesecloth for probably 3 years now. So this meat is going to be going to the dogs and cats. And these bones here, if you wanted to be using everything that you're producing here, give them a second roast until they're completely brittle and you can grind them into dust. And that would be a great source of calcium for your roses. This last bit of stock, get that ran through the fine mesh sieve. I can show you how much we ended up with here. Boom. It's about 2/3 of my pot, all the way full now. Now, while that is coming back up to a simmer, gonna get to work and get my jars all prepped. Now, you do not need to bring your stock back up to temperature if you are just going to be storing it inside the fridge. The only reason I popped it back on the stove is because I canned this batch of beef stock here. And since I prefer to hot pack while canning stock, that's why I did that. Now, if you're curious on the whole canning process for beef stock here, I will be posting a video on this here shortly. And boom, thanks for hanging out, and y'all take care.